Hello everyone, welcome to our security update where we frequently address the latest security issues in Africa. Here are the notable stories making headlines this week. Somaliland President plans to initiate committee to probe Friday's incident. Dozens of soldiers, commanders fear death in Al-Shabaab attack in Galgaduud region. Sudan military leader vows decisive victory, rules out talks with RSF. Ethiopian Prime Minister charges Republican Guard members to uphold training tenets. Welcome to the program. My name is Hamza Daabjeerin. President Musa Bihi of Somaliland has revealed his plan is to initiate a committee aimed at investigating the recent incident that occurred on Friday in Sol region. The incident pertains to the takeover of a significant military base in Lasanod by armed forces. President Musa Bihi of Somaliland has revealed his plan is to initiate a committee aimed at investigating the recent incident that occurred on Friday in Sol region. The incident pertains to the takeover of a significant military base in Lasanod by armed forces. In response to the situation, President Bihi extended invitations to Abdurrahman Erro, the presidential candidate of the Wadani Party and the Speaker of the House of Elders. The discussion is revolving around the prevailing circumstances in the Sol region. President Bihi underscored the urgent need for a thorough investigation into the events of Friday, expressing his condolences to the nation and the private families who lost their loved ones. He appealed for a national unity during this challenging time. He commended opposition parties for their supportive stance toward the National Army and their resilience in the face of the current strained situation. However, the president advised the public to exercise caution and refrain from impressing information that could potentially sow doubt and uncertainty. President Bihi emphasized that the recent incident will not impede the progress of the National Army and its ongoing commitment to national duties. Presidential candidates representing Somaliland's Wadani and U'id parties have separately urged the public to demonstrate unity and rally behind the National Army, emphasizing the collective welfare of the nation. This appeal comes in the wake of reports that an armed militia in Lasanod has purportedly gained control over a significant military installation in the region. Presidential candidates representing Somaliland's Wadani and U'id parties have separately urged the public to demonstrate unity and rally behind the National Army, emphasizing the collective welfare of the nation. This appeal comes in the wake of reports that an armed militia in Lasanod has purportedly gained control over a significant military installation in the region. Abdurrahman Muhammad Abdullahi, the presidential candidate from the Wadani Party, emphasized the necessity for the nation to exhibit maturity and composure in navigating challenging circumstances. He stressed that the current juncture requires the people of Somaliland to rise above partisan divisions and display their unwavering commitment to the nation's ideals. However, the Somaliland Defense Ministry has countered these reports by stating that the strategic repositioning of their military forces was executed in alignment with established military tactics. This statement has drawn criticism from Abdurrahman Muhammad Abdullahi, who contends that the provided explanation lacks sufficient clarity and fails to adequately address public concerns. After that call from the opposition parties, a gathering of hundreds of individuals took place at Hargeisa Stadium, where they expressed their solidarity with the Somaliland Armed Forces in the aftermath of intense clashes that occurred on Friday between the National Army and a militia group in Lasanod.
A gathering of hundreds of individuals took place today at Hargeisa Stadium, where they expressed their solidarity with the Somaliland Armed Forces in the aftermath of intense clashes that occurred on Friday between the National Army and a militia group in Lasanod. Prominent political figures led by Vice President Abdurrahman Saleh delivered keynote speeches to the assembled audience. These speeches underscored their unwavering commitment and support to the defense forces and included stern warnings directed towards the armed militia. Vice President Abdurrahman Salih extended condolences to the nation for the loss of Defense Force members during the clashes on Friday. He also praised the pivotal role played by the National Armed Forces in upholding security even at the cost of their own lives, emphasizing that the recent incident would not hinder the progress of the National Army. The Vice President highlighted the ongoing dedication of the armed forces to their national responsibilities. He advised the public to exercise prudence and to refrain from embracing potentially dubious or uncertain information. This development transpired amid reports indicating that an armed militia in Latinoid had previously gained control over a significant military installation within the region. In response, President Moshe Bihi announced his intention to establish a committee tasked with investigating the recent unfortunate incidents.
Multiple casualties are feared among Somalia soldiers and military commanders as a result of an attack by Al-Shabaab group in the Galgaduud region's central area, specifically in the village of Auswene. This village, which had recently been liberated, is situated approximately 20 kilometers away from the El Pur district. Multiple casualties are feared among Somalia soldiers and military commanders as a result of an attack by the Al-Shabaab group in the Galgaduud region's central area, specifically in the village of Aswene. This village, which had recently been liberated, is situated approximately 20 kilometers away from the El Pur district. Despite the attack, the Somali National Army has reported successfully fending off the Al-Shabaab assault on the military base. Independent confirmation of the precise casualty figures for both sides remains unavailable from private media sources. In the aftermath of the incident in Auswene, there has been a call for an impartial investigation into the attack, endorsed by political figures including former presidents. The conflict between the Somali army and Al-Shabaab has intensified in recent months, with both sides ramping up their operations in an effort to weaken the opposition. This escalation coincides with the federal government's objective of initiating the second phase of the campaign against Al-Shabaab. High-level discussion is involving representatives from African Union, Somalia, and the United Nations took place to address the forthcoming phase of troop withdrawal for the Africa Union Transition Mission in Somalia, scheduled for September. The strategic plan involves a reduction of 3,000 personnel from ATMI's forces over the course of the upcoming month. High-level discussion is involving representatives from the African Union, Somalia, and the United Nations took place to address the forthcoming phase of troop withdrawal from the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, scheduled for September. The strategic plan involves a reduction of 3,000 personnel from ATMI's forces over the course of the upcoming month. Mohammed Al-Amin, who holds the position of Special Representative of the African Union Commission in Somalia, and is also the head of ATMIS, emphasized the meticulous planning that is currently underway. He highlighted that the withdrawal process is being conducted in a manner that ensures the protection of achieved milestones even as combat operations continue. During the discussions, a strong emphasis was placed on the comprehensive evaluation of equipment and logistical support being transferred to the Somalian forces. This evaluation falls under the purview of the United Nations, which aims to ascertain that the equipment is in optimal condition and that the Somalian forces possess the necessary resources for their forthcoming deployment. Pursuant to the guidelines set forth by the United Security Council Resolution 2687 in 2023, a technical assessment conducted jointly by the African Union and Somalia is anticipated to conclude by the end of August. This assessment will closely examine the progress achieved during the initial withdrawal phase, with detailed findings anticipated to be made available by September 15. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia extended a warm welcome to the returning members of the Republican Guard who had been away on intensive training as part of the security sector capacity building program. But we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative, craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human angle, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
Welcome back again. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia extended a warm welcome to the returning members of the Republican Guard who had been away on intensive training as part of the security sector capacity building program. The Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for the commitment to ensuring the security and stability of Ethiopia.
The training offered to the Republican Guard members forms an integral component of the broader security sector capacity building initiative, according to a statement issued by the Office of the Prime Minister. The program is designed to enhance the capabilities of the Republican Guard in effectively safeguarding Ethiopia's constitution and constitutional order. The Republican Guard was established in the summer of 2018 following a hand grenade explosion that occurred during a public speech by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Addis Ababa on June 23, 2018. The establishment of the Republican Guard was attributed to the need for heightened security measures in response to this incident and other disturbances that are taking place in Ethiopia. A primary mandate of the Republican Guard is to protect the highest levels of Ethiopian leadership from threats and attempted attacks, thereby ensuring the integrity of the nation's constitutional framework. While the return of the Republican Guard members from their intensive training was met with appreciation from various quarters, there have been contrasting opinions about the role of militarization in Ethiopia's growth and stability. A Twitter user with the handle 4kilo expressed the view that Ethiopians should prioritize dialogue and peace over militarization in order to foster growth and prosperity. On the other hand, another individual, Anthony Kiana Gemza, voiced concerns over the reported deployment of Oromia militias in the Amhara region. The user alleged that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed had sent poorly trained militias into a war against well-armed and motivated forces. The comment called upon international bodies such as the United Nations and the African Union (AU) to intervene and halt the conflict.
Sudanese de facto president, the leader of the army, Abdel Fattah Burhan, has ruled out negotiations with the rival paramilitary rapid support forces, adding that, quote, "We don't strike deals with traitors," end of quote. The war in Sudan has killed thousands of people and displaced no fewer than 4 million others.
Sudan's military ruler Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has crushed expectations for negotiation processes in an address to soldiers on Monday, calling the opposing paramilitary rapid support forces, RSF, traitors and forecasting an overwhelming success. Since the war between the army and the RSF began in April, millions of people have been displaced and a humanitarian crisis has erupted. Several discussions have failed to bring the violence to a standstill. His address came a day after the RSF leader Hamza Daabjeerin declared his readiness for negotiations and a long-term ceasefire. Burhan has commenced a tour of bases in army-controlled areas and is scheduled to visit Saudi Arabia and Egypt, prompting some to think that a deal was likely. Since deposing Omar al-Bashir in 2019, two factions have shared control and blame each other for sparking the conflict, which erupted amid attempts to incorporate their troops into a unified force as part of a democratic transition. Meanwhile, Sudanese pro-democracy activists have condemned the RSF leader's earlier remarks as very hypocritical, given his role in organizing attacks on civilians and ensuring military maintains control in Sudan. Thousands of people have died and over 4 million have fled their homes. Kamil Sadiq, CBA TV.
President Ahmed Mohamed Islam Madhobe of Jubaland State in Somalia has conveyed his concerns regarding the gradual advancement of anti-Al-Shabaab endeavors within Galmudug State. President Ahmed Mohamed Islam Madhobe of Jubaland State in Somalia has conveyed his concerns regarding the gradual advancement of anti-Al-Shabaab endeavors within Galmudug State. The regional leader has highlighted a perceptible incongruity between the articulated discourse encompassing the ongoing operations and the tangible strides made in practice. President Madhobe has conveyed his astonishment at the prolonged duration of the Al-Shabaab conflict in Galmudug. He underscored the vital importance of translating governmental armament into substantive action, cautioning that a lack of tangible progress could inadvertently bolster the strategic position of the Al-Shabaab group through potential weapon loss. Notwithstanding these apprehensions, President Madhobe's administration remains at the forefront of regions slated to embark upon the second phase of initiatives aimed at liberating territories currently under Al-Shabaab's dominion, further underscoring the commitment of the Somalia government and its associated administrations to this multifaceted endeavor. Somalia's armed forces, in conjunction with local community militias, have successfully retaken control of El Pur, a strategically important district located in the Galgudud region, formerly under the dominance of Al-Shabaab. The district was the scene of intense clashes that led to a notable number of casualties. Precise figures pertaining to the extent of the losses remain undisclosed and unverified at present. Somalia's armed forces, in conjunction with local community militias, have successfully retaken control of El Pur, a strategically important district located in the Galgudud region, formerly under the dominance of Al-Shabaab. The district was the scene of intense clashes that led to a notable number of casualties. Precise figures pertaining to the extent of the losses remain undisclosed and unverified at present. Reliable sources on the ground have reported that the combined forces are currently engaging in comprehensive security operations within El Pur. The primary objectives of these operations are to consolidate authority over the district and guarantee the safety of its inhabitants. El Pur, positioned strategically and bearing significance in regional dynamics, had been under the influence of Al-Shabaab for an extended period, spanning approximately 16 years. According to the government officials, serving as a central hub for the group's operations within the heart of the nation, the city's recapture marks a considerable setback for the militants' presence in central Somalia. Somalia Army claimed to have killed 47 Al-Shabaab fighters in a new military operation in southern Somalia that took place in the Yaqdabi area of the Lower Juba region. During this operation, the special forces also obliterated the group's positions. Somalia Army claimed to have killed 47 Al-Shabaab fighters in a new military operation in southern Somalia that took place in the Yaqdabi area of the Lower Juba region. During this operation, the special forces also obliterated the group's positions. Military officials said the army carried out cleaning operations in the Lower Juba region to flush out criminals hidden within the forest, thereby thwarting any plot against the Somali people. The operation comes as the Somali National Army intensified their attacks against Al-Shabaab to liberate Galmudug and Hirshabelle state. The army captured El Pur district, which has been under Al-Shabaab's control for over 15 years. According to the government officials, serving as a central hub for the group's operations within the heart of the nation, the city's recapture marks a considerable setback for the militants' presence in central Somalia. And with that story of the Somalia Army claiming to have killed 47 Al-Shabaab fighters in a new military operation in southern Somalia that took place in the Yaqdabi area of the Lower Juba region, will wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. This is me, Hamza Daabjeerin.